Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is roof. R-O-O-F.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive the new DeSoto? Hurry up
Do it now
at your dealers today. It's designed for you and your budget too. It's the 1952 DeSoto.
It's here. Yes, it's here. The new 1952 DeSoto is now on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Be sure to see this beautiful new car. Listen for further details later in this program. And here he is, the one, the only...
Name's familiar. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $1,500 for one of our couples. Who's first to try for the $1,500, GF?
Well, we asked if there are any bachelors and spinsters.
You don't mind if I call you GF?
No, it's perfectly all right. We asked if there were any bachelors...
What would you object to?
We asked if there were any We asked if there were any bachelors or spinsters in the audience tonight, and just before we went on the air, Miss Sidney Ball and Mr. Frank Finch were selected. Folks, come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome. Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Miss Sidney Ball. Let's see, Miss Sidney, you're a spinster?
That's right.
A mighty fine-looking spinster. May I ask your age? You aren't obliged to tell the truth, in fact. You aren't even expected to, but...
May I say 44 and a half?
Yes, you may. Which half of the 44 are you?
The long half.
Oh, the long half. Well, you're pretty cute. Where are you from, Sidney?
I was born in Kansas.
In Kansas?
Yes.
And where are you from, Frank? Frank Finch, huh?
I've been 30 years in Los Angeles, but I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
Oh. You like it? You prefer it up here?
30 years seems so.
Not necessarily. There might be a price on you in Texas. How old are you, my lad?
Past 50.
Mm-hmm. A guarded statement, have I ever heard one. Are you interested in matrimony, Mr. Finch? Or are you still on the fence?
Well, I'm still on the fence.
What a feeble jape that is, huh? You still on the fence? Why?
Well, after all, sometimes I think the price of coffee and things like that for two.
Well, you don't have to marry coffee. That's Imagine a guy on his knees about to propose to a girl and he suddenly thinks of the price of coffee. That would be grounds for something. I don't know. What sort of work do you do, Mr. Finch, besides sidestepping? Huh? What's that?
I'm a real estate broker.
Oh, a real estate, really? Well, if you got married, at least you'd have a lot in common. Do you have a job, Miss Ball?
Yes, I'm a policewoman.
A policewoman?
Yes.
A copper, and you still haven't caught a man?
No.
Are you really a policewoman?
Yes, I'm really a
You're pretty
policewoman.
tiny to be a copper, aren't you? Well, it's no surprise having you on the show. We've been expecting the police for a long time. Would you mind pinching me? I want to see if I'm alive.
I never made a nicer pinch.
Well, thank you, Sam Spade. 2 clubs. No, that's another game. Has anything exciting ever happened in your job that you could tell us about?
Yes, many exciting things. I might say Lincoln Heights Jail, while it's a very tragic place, at the same time it's a very humorous place. And not so long ago, we had a woman come in, and she took a look at me, and she said, "You know, you look just like my bulldog." So I went on about my work, and a little later in the evening, I went back and...
And bitter, I suppose.
I went back and...
There's nothing like being logical.
I went back, and she said to me, she was very nervously pacing up and down behind the bars, and she said to me, "Gee, I wish I was out." And she said, "I must be out tomorrow." And I said, "Well, what's so important you must be out tomorrow?" She said, "Well, there's a dog show in Glendale, and if I was out, I'd enter you."
My guess is that woman is still there. Well, let's get back to your romance. What kind of a man are you looking for, Miss Ball?
Well, I'd like a man about my own age, of course, and just the comfy home type.
Well, don't overlook Frank over here. If you marry him, at least you'll have a roof over your head. Of course, he'll sell it any time he can make a nickel on it. Well, you're a charming couple, and Frank, from here on, you have my permission to take the law into your own hands. And I hope you get a life sentence. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,500 question. Right now, this should hold your interest.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive the new DeSoto? Hurry up
Do it now
at your dealers today. It's designed for you and your budget too. It's the 1952 DeSoto.
The new 1952 DeSoto. It's designed for you and your budget, too. The 1952 DeSoto is on display now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers with a whole host of great features. Features like famous safety rim wheels, sensational Oriflow shock absorbers for the smoothest ride on the road, chair-high seats to give you a relaxing ride and a good view of the road ahead, handsome rear end with a big rear window for greater visibility, waterproof ignition to give you quick starts even in the wettest weather. From every angle, the beautiful 1952 DeSoto is your best car value today. It's designed for you and for your budget, too. See the 1952 DeSoto. It's on display now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Mr. Fenner, would you mind explaining the rules?
Well, you bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,000 DeSoto Plymouth question later on in the show.
Here we go. Let's see how high you can build your $20. You selected words ending in ATE. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$14.
14?
$14. What is the word beginning with I and ending with 8, meaning to water the land?
Irrigate.
Irrigate is right.
You're off to a good start. You have $34.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of the $34 will you bet on your second question? 30? Fine. What is the word beginning with N and ending with 8, meaning to sail a ship?
Navigate.
Navigate is right.
You now have $64.
Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
60?
$60. What is the word beginning with I, with L, and ending with 8, meaning to set free? Starts with
Liberate.
Liberate is right.
You've now climbed to $124.
They get along beautifully. They're crazy if they don't get hooked up. Here's your last chance to be the other couples. How much of the $124 you going to risk?
120.
120. What is the word beginning with E and ending with 8, meaning to dig or to hollow out?
Excavate.
Excavate is right. Put it there, kid. Fine. I think you ought to give Frank a big kiss for doing so well on this thing.
And you wind up with $244.
Wouldn't you kiss Frank for $244?
Sure.
Well, get going, huh? Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We asked for men with unusual occupations to volunteer from our audience, and just before we went on the air, Commander Ian Murray was chosen. His partner is a housewife, Mrs. Laurel Lee Hamilton. And here they are. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Mrs. Laura Lee Hamilton and Commander Ian Murray. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Ian, huh? I-A-I-N. You kind of threw me for a minute there. Mrs. Hamilton, does your husband call you Laurel or Hardy? Neither, huh?
He calls me his little honey.
And does he ever put the B on you? No, that was the wrong thing to say, I guess. Huh? Where are you from, honey?
Denver.
Denver, huh? And how old are you, honey?
Well, I have a married daughter. Does that answer you?
It doesn't answer me, but I'm beginning to catch on. What sort of work does your husband do?
Well, he's sort of a farmer.
He is.
We have a little ranch.
Oh, you have a little ranch. Mm-hmm. And you raise bees there?
No, I'm the only honey. No, we have fruit trees.
You're a pretty young-looking woman to have a grown-up daughter. How old is your daughter?
Well, she's 20.
Oh. Tell us about the ranch, huh? And later about your daughter. Not much later either. About now would be fine, I think. Huh? Let's skip the ranch. How tall is your daughter? Huh?
Well, she's 4.5 inches taller than I.
Well, that lets me out.
Very slender.
All right, back to the ranch now.
We got 18 chickens.
You've got 18 chickens? Is that without your daughter or with your daughter?
48 fruit trees and all the vegetables in the world. We grow our own vegetables. It's only an acre.
Oh.
1 acre.
You have a lot of stuff on there for an acre. How did you meet your husband?
Well, it's kind of a long story. It was about 2 years
kind
ago.
Of synopsize it.
All right. It was about...
Cut it down to boy size, huh?
Well, this happened 2 years ago, and I'd been a widow for 5 years. And I'd saved up and decided to go to Honolulu, probably subconsciously in quest of a husband. I don't know. But anyway, some friends drove me...
Just a moment, honey. Don't tell me you didn't know why you went to Honolulu.
Well, anyway, some
that
friends...
That boat is full of buzzards going over there, Greg.
Anyway, some friends drove me down to the airport, and they spent an hour telling me about a fella they'd put on the boat 2 weeks before, and they said, he's a mama's boy, and he won't take you out, and he won't buy you corsages, and you won't like him, and... but anyway, call him up and tell him we sent our love, and maybe you'll get a free feed out of it. So, maybe he'll at least take you to one dinner. So when I got in, I did call him, and that evening he invited me to dinner, and he was just wonderful. He was out of this world, and I said, this is for me. He was not at all like I expected. You want to know how he proposed to me?
I'd like to.
Well?
Did the subject of coffee come up at all?
Remember that. Anyway, he had always said the trouble with marriage is, and I kept saying, oh, marriage can be so wonderful and everything. But he didn't weaken until I got home about a week ahead of him, and then he came over. And
I hope your marriage lasts as long as the story. I'll get back to you in a minute, honey.
Let me just tell him how I proposed. He proposed. Just that. Just, please. He said, he came over and he was
I have to be in Glendale at midnight.
He was awfully sad and miserable and dejected looking. He came in
Forget
and
it. Is your daughter happy?
I wish you'd let me talk. It's kind of funny.
Well, I'd like to hear it, huh?
He came in and he was sad, and I said, what's the matter? And he said, okay, honey, you win. I give in. I'll marry you.
And that's all there was to it?
I'll marry you, he said.
Well, that's wonderful. And you're very happy together, and I'm glad to hear it. You look like a very happy woman.
I am.
Now, Commander Ian Murray, is that...
That's what I'm called, sir.
Your friends call you Ian?
No, sir. They call me Kadim, which is the...
Kadim?
Kadim. That's the initials
That's
of my
Pig Latin, isn't it?
More or less, sir, yes.
Looks, say, on the Kadimski, that's where they talk about. Where are you from, Commander?
Well, I was born in Canada, sir, but at a very few weeks...
You were born in a very few weeks?
No, sir. I was born in Canada.
That's the rate of exchange over there.
At the age of a very few weeks, was taken to my ancestral home in Scotland.
Oh, I see, huh? Oh, you're in Scotland?
Tullibardine, Scotland.
Tullibardine. That sounds like a cheese, huh?
Well, they
Where
do
did you
make
get the
cheese,
title of commander, Ian? Were you in the service?
Yes, sir. I served for 28 years as a merchant service officer and commander in the Royal Naval Reserve.
Well, put it there, kid.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Ian, tell me, are you married or have you had enough excitement?
Oh, well, sir, I'm married for just about 5 years.
Now, how'd you meet your wife?
Well, my wife was a wren in the...
She was a what?
A wren, sir. In the
You meet her
Royal
in a
Navy.
tree?
No, sir, Royal Navy this time.
A what?
In the Royal Navy. As a matter of fact, she was a third officer, and that's about the lowest form of commissioned life, I think, in the British Navy.
She had the lowest form in the Navy, you said?
Lowest commission.
Wait till you get home tonight, Ian. Well, I learned a lot talking to you two. And now you can learn something from me. For service, take your car to the man who knows it best, your DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,500 question. You run your $20 and more than our other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The Bachelor and the Spinster won $244.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected Explorers and Adventurers.
Correct, sir?
Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
15.
All right, 15.
15.
Yes.
What was the name of the English explorer who discovered Livingstone in darkest Africa?
Robert Stanley.
Stanley is right. Stanley.
Well, you're on your way. You have $35.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of the $35 will you bet on your second question?
34.
What was the name of the Portuguese navigator who was the first to sail around the world?
Ferdinand Magellan.
Ferdinand Magellan is right.
You're climbing. You have $69.
Here's your third question. How much of the 69 are you going to try?
68.
What was the name of
Christopher Columbus.
Christopher Colombo.
You have $137.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet?
Bet the lot.
Okay. What was the name of the American soldier and explorer who explored with Kit Carson in Oregon? He later was appointed governor of California.
Fremont.
John C. Fremont is right. Put it there, Commander.
And you wind up
Put it there.
with $274.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We invited some babysitters to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, we selected Mrs. Ann Barnes. And Groucho, her partner, is a very unusual man. I was in a drive-in the other night, and I invited him to be a contestant on our show, and when you see him in just a minute, I think you're going to know why I asked him. So here they are. Mrs. Ann Barnes and Mr. Locke Martin meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth. Well, welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and win $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Loch Lomond, is that your name?
No, Locke Martin.
Oh, Locke Martin. How tall are you, Mr. Mountain?
7 feet, 7 inches.
Oh. Well, I'll just call you Mount Whitney, huh? That's pretty high. Of course, the last time I saw anything your size, I was pretty high myself. Where are you from, Locke?
I was born in West Bridgewater, Pennsylvania.
What kind of a place is that?
I don't recall too much about it. We moved to Canyon City, Colorado when I was about 3 years old. That's where I was raised.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you said raised, you said you knew what you were talking about. Are you married, Locke?
Yes, I am.
Is your wife a tall girl?
No, she's 5 feet, 5.5 inches tall.
Well, that's tall enough. At least she comes up to your wallet. I hope for your sake she doesn't come up there too often. Well, let's get some measurements now. How much do you weigh, Locke?
280 pounds.
Oh, well, that's quite a lot. What do you eat at a normal meal?
Well, I'd say I eat just an average dinner. I probably don't eat any more than you do.
I don't eat at all. What size shoe do you wear?
Well, they don't actually have a size. The best estimate so far has been size 18.
Now tell me, what are some of the advantages of being so tall, aside from the fact that you're over the smog belt?
Well, it's rather nice when your car is parked out in a big parking lot. And I can usually spot it pretty easy. And if I lose my wife out in a big crowd, I can usually find her real quick.
Can you consider that an advantage? Mrs. Barnes, I'm sorry to have neglected you, but you must admit you're slightly overshadowed. You say you're a babysitter. How would you like to sit with this baby?
Well, I think that'd be kind of nice.
Well, if you ever sit with him, just be sure you get paid by the foot instead of by the hour. How do you get your babysitting jobs, Anne?
Well, I get them through the Babysitters Guild Incorporated, of which Mrs. Hanner is president, and she employs only women, widows, over 45 years of age.
Well, what are the duties of a babysitter, specifically?
Well, when you first get there, if it's a small child, you don't do much except take instructions from the mother as to what should be done. If it's a child about a year and a half old, why, you just sort of visit with the mother and let the child sort of decide that you're all right.
In other words, you take over the duties and problems of a mother, is that it?
Yes, that's it.
Well, usually the biggest problem facing the mother is the father. Locke, let's get back to you for a moment. I imagine you've had many unusual experiences. Do you find the whole world is out of step but you?
It does seem that way. Things just aren't made for people my size.
What sort of work do you do?
I work as a host at Bob's Drive-In Restaurant out in Van Nuys. People are always driving in there and asking me how I got so big. I tell them from eating Bob's hamburgers.
Well, you said you know your onions, all right. Well, as a tall man, do you think the human race would be better if all of us were as big as you are?
Well, probably bigger bodies wouldn't help the human race. Probably what the human race would benefit by would be bigger hearts.
Too bad, Well, Locke, you're a very high-class type fellow, is all I can say about you. And you're a very unusual couple, and the quality has been every bit as good as the quantity.
Thank you.
Now you're going to play your bet your life for a chance at the $1,500 question. You run your $20 into more than our other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
Commander Murray and the housewife are ahead with $274.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected familiar abbreviations. Our source for these abbreviations is the Encyclopedia Americana. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$15?
$15 is fine.
Okay.
What do the initials RFD stand for?
I imagine it's Rural Free Delivery.
Rural Free Delivery is right.
And now you have $35.
How much of the $35 will you bet on your second question?
How about $34?
Oh, no, a little more than that. $34.99 or 98 cents.
Okay.
He wants to go higher than he is.
How much? Which will be $34.99?
$34.99.
What do you say?
Okay.
That'll give Fenneman a fine time. What do the initials RPM stand for?
Revolutions per minute.
Revolutions per minute. Here's your third question.
I haven't told them how much they have
I
yet.
don't care how much. Here's your third question. How much are you going to bet?
Of your $69.99.
We're going to save a
figured
penny.
it out?
Yeah.
We're saving a penny.
I hadn't counted on you at all, Fenneman.
You want to save a penny?
1 penny.
That would be what?
$69.98.
No, we want a bid of 90.
All right, here we go for $69.98. That sounds like a coat with 2 pair of pants.
Told you so.
What do the initials COD stand for?
It's not cash
Collect
on
on
delivery.
delivery.
It's collect on delivery.
Collect on delivery is right.
We're still saving a penny.
How much have they got?
Oh,
We're
I'm
still saving a
lost,
penny
really.
on it.
I think it's
Here's a man who went to
139.
Stanford. He graduated from Stanford with high honors.
139.
He was on the football team. As a water boy.
$139.97. Our
He used to stuff the stuffing back into the uniform.
Oh, we still save less bet at all this time.
That's right. Bet it all.
Okay, here we go. What do the initials PS stand for?
Postscript.
Postscript is right.
I can see it. You have $279.94. Right? And that means that you, in just 1 minute, get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. Next time you visit your DeSoto Plymouth dealer, notice the facilities he has in order to serve you better. His offices, his showroom, where he displays the beautiful new 1952 DeSoto and the handsome Plymouth. His service shops, where you get better work done on your car at a price that's reasonable. And his used car lot, where you can be sure of finding the car that best fills your needs and best fits your pocketbook. Yes, a DeSoto Plymouth dealer really has a big investment. And here's what it means to you. It means that because a DeSoto Plymouth dealer is a permanent part of your community, he does everything in his power to treat you courteously, to make you a satisfied customer, a steady customer. He knows that whenever he sells you a new car, whenever he repairs your present car, or whenever he sells you a used car, his reputation is at stake. So it's no wonder that we say, you couldn't do business with a better man than a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And here comes the babysitter and the tall man, all set for the $1,500 DeSoto Plymouth question. Right in here.
Well, tall in the saddle, we'll see how smart you are now. Here we go for $1,500. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Here it is. We asked this question on our very first program more than 4 years ago. See if you remember it. The United States Gold Depository is at Fort Knox. For $1,500, can you tell me where the Silver Depository is located?
West Point.
West Point is right. You better give her a big kiss.
I don't believe it.
Well, that's right. You win $1,500. You won $1,500 plus how much in the quiz, George?
I lost it again.
Here it is. $279.
That's right.
$279.94 plus $1,500 is $1,779.94.
I still don't believe it.
Anyway, congratulations from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You bet your life.
Oh, we're excited.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the 1952 DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Walkers wise use their eyes. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is tree. T-R-E-E.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive a new DeSoto? Hurry up
Do it now.
at your dealers today. It's designed for you and your budget too. It's the 1952 DeSoto.
It's here. Yes, it's here. The new 1952 DeSoto is now on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Be sure to see this beautiful new car. Listen for further details later in this program. And here he is, the one, the only...
Never heard of him. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $1,000 for one of our couples. Mr. Fenneman, who's supposed to try for the $1,000?
Well, we invited some architects to the program tonight. And just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. Walter Haggenah. His partner is a young woman from our audience, Miss Sheila Crystal. And here they are. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Miss Sheila Crystal and Mr. Walter Haggenah? Haggenah. You're an architect?
Yes, I'm an architect.
Where are you from? Mason City?
No, I'm from Petaluma, California.
Where?
Petaluma, California, the world's egg basket.
Oh. Well, I ought to have been born there. I've laid many of them. Miss Sheila Crystal?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
May I ask your age?
25.
25. What part of Ireland are you from, Sheila?
It's my mother who was born in Ireland. I narrowly missed being born in New Haven, Connecticut, but I was born in London instead.
In London, Connecticut?
No,
New
London,
London?
England.
Oh, London, England. Huh? Would you say that Sheila, as an architect now speaking, would you say that she's early American, modern, or rambling?
Well, I'd say she was modern with maybe some early American influence.
Is that true, Sheila?
It'll do.
Well, now, why would I need an architect? Why can't I just go to a builder and tell him to build me a house?
Well,
Haggenah?
you could.
I'd love to say that name. Haggenah.
You could go to a builder, but if you want a real home to suit your needs, you should go to an architect, because behind every real home, there's an architect.
Times have certainly changed since I was a lad. That certainly wasn't what you'd find behind every home. You'd find a chicken coop, that's what you'd find. Fooled you, didn't I? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, all of you. Now, well, Sheila, every girl has plans for a dream house. Would you give us some idea of what you'd like?
Well, I think an early American salt box type of house. I lived in one in New Jersey, and...
You lived in a salt box?
It's a salt box type of house.
Oh.
It's early American. Yeah. Of course, it would have to have plenty of space behind it for kennels.
Why, Sheila?
I have a pair of Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
Is that so? Well, if you keep your mouth shut, nobody will notice it. Just what is a Rhodesian Ridgeback?
It's a lion dog.
A what?
A lion dog.
Well, I'm a lion dog myself. What do you mean, lion dogs? You mean they're always lying under the stove?
No, they hunt lions.
They hunt lions in New Jersey?
No, in South Africa.
Oh. You live in New Jersey and you send them over to South Africa?
No, you've got me completely wrong. I live in California.
You just told me you lived in a salt box in New Jersey. You were born in Connecticut and you hunt in Africa. Kid, you certainly get around.
Gets confusing, doesn't it?
Oh, it's devastating. Would you mind amplifying this a little more?
About the dogs?
About anything. I don't care. My standards are low. I don't care what we discuss.
Well,
Tell us about the lion dogs.
Well, they hunt in packs of about half a dozen of them, And they're noted for their ability to scent a lion about a mile away. And they bay him out of hiding, and they hold him for the huntsman's coup de grace.
Oh. Well, a huntsman without a coup de grace is nothing, huh? I don't see how they can get around without one. Do these dogs ever get into trouble? They have no lions to chase around here. Do they keep in practice by chasing the milkman or iceman?
So far, they've been quite well behaved over here, but I can remember an instance in South Africa where Chaka, was beyond the pale. Chaka, that's the name of the dog, yes.
He was beyond the pale? What do you mean? He was thirsty and they...
No, but he kept two honeymooners out of the hotel by barking when they tried to open the door, and they had to stay out till about 3 o'clock in the morning when I came to rescue them.
Very funny. That Chaka is really a dirty dog. Well, this has been most interesting, and if I ever want to build a doghouse, I'll consult both of you. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,000 question. Right now, I want you to hear something of real importance.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive the new DeSoto? Hurry up.
Do it now
At your dealers today. It's designed for you and your budget, too. It's the 1952 DeSoto.
It's here. Yes, it's here. The 1952 DeSoto is now on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Across the nation this week, folks everywhere are getting their first ride in the beautiful new 1952 DeSoto. You'll be thrilled when you step through those big wide doors and see how roomy a car can be. Inside, you sit naturally. You relax in seats that are chair high. Yes, the 1952 DeSoto brings you a whole host of wonderful features. Features like Oriflow shock absorbers to help give you one of the smoothest rides you've ever known. Waterproof ignition to give you sure starts, even in the dampest weather. To protect your family in case of blowouts, famous safety rim wheels. The 1952 DeSoto is designed for you and your budget, too. See the new 1952 DeSoto. It's now on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
All right, now let's see how you work it together as a team. George, explain the rules.
All right, you bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,000 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the show.
Is that clear, Mr. Haggenah? Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected nursery rhymes. Here's your first question. How much are you going to bet?
Let's say 18.
15, I think we'll be conservative.
Let's make it 18.
No, let's make it 15.
Oh, no, let's make it 18.
Well, I think we'll make it 15. 15?
15.
This is a woman's world we're living in, Mr. Haggenah.
So I find out.
We don't want to put all of his eggs in one basket.
You're betting $15. Where did Peter keep his wife?
Pumpkin. In a pumpkin.
In a pumpkin, yes.
In a pumpkin shell is right.
Well, you're off to a good start. You have $35.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the $35 will you bet on your second question?
32. Let's make it 30.
Well, I got the last one. You get this one.
Thank you.
Why don't you alternate and decide on how much you're going to bet? All right, you're going for $1,000. You're going to bet $30 this time. How old was the peas porridge in the pot? You know.
9 days old.
9 days old is right.
You're climbing. You have $65.
I think Hagedorn has been building kiddie coops. Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
62.
62. Who kissed the girls and made them cry?
Georgie Porgy.
Georgie Porgy is right.
You now have $127.
All right, and here's your last chance to be the other couples. How much will you bet?
Let's make it 100.
100.
We come up with something.
All right, here we go for $100. $100. Who runs through the town in his nightshirt, rapping at windows?
Wee Willie Winky.
Wee Willie Winky is right.
And you wind up with a grand total of $227. Thank you very much.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We have a tailor and a housewife now, Groucho, and here they are, Mr. Richard R. MacIntosh and Mrs. Katherine George. Meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mrs. Katherine George, you're the housewife. Where are you from, Mrs. George?
I'm from Macedonia, Greece.
You're from Greece?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. George doesn't sound like a Greek name. Are you married to Gorgeous George?
Oh, no. Georgeoplis. His name is Georgeoplis, but I just dropped the Opulus.
My Aunt Minnie did the same thing. She was really Minneapolis. Then I had an Indian uncle named Indianapolis. Nothing. What sort of work does your husband do?
A restaurant man, but of course he's retired now.
He's retired?
Mm-hmm.
You have any children?
Oh, yes. 5 children and 7 grandchildren.
How did you meet your husband?
Well, my husband was captain.
I'll call you Sheila, huh?
Call me anyway, anything you want.
I'll call you Catherine. Isn't that right?
Yes, Catherine, yes.
Katharina.
Mm-hmm. My husband was the captain of the Greek army. He passed by my hometown. You know, I come from a very small town in Macedonia. And he says the first minute he set eyes on me, he fell in love with me.
Well, that's understandable. I can understand
So, he proposed to me. The next day, he came back and he says, I want to marry you. Would you marry me? I said, so soon? I just met you. Well, he says, I am an army man. I got to do things in a hurry. So, I said, well, can you give me a few minutes to think about it? And he says, well, you can think all you want. He didn't let me think, you know. He just kept talking about all the adventures we were going to have in the war. He was going to take me to war, mind you. And I was only 16 then. So the first day we were met, the second day we were engaged, and the third day we were married. And the fourth day, he took me to war. Really? And you know how, Mr. Marx? He put me in a trunk. Believe it or not. And he put the trunk in a big truck, you know, and up I went. In the boat, you know how they lifted with the winch?
Yeah.
There I went.
There was a winch in the winch, huh?
And the winch.
Well, the winch in the winch. I don't know.
For 2 weeks.
You were in the trunk?
No. The first day I was in the trunk.
It's a fine honeymoon, alone in the trunk.
Honeymoon, that's right.
You didn't know you were going to go through all this when he proposed to you, huh?
Well, no. He didn't tell me that I was going to go in the trunk because if I had to do that again, I wouldn't do it now. Love or no love? Greek officer or not Greek officer?
You're absolutely right. Now,
but I was only 16.
You're not much older now, Mrs. George.
Oh, yeah.
You look like about 19 now.
Thank you.
And very, very, very cute. Now,
Thank you very
Mr. Richard MacIntosh, that's a Scotch name, isn't it?
That's right.
And you're Scotch, huh?
That's right, too.
Are you a quarter or a fifth?
Well,
what part of Scotland are you from, Mac?
Ogden, Utah.
I always thought Ogden was in South America. I think he is. I had a letter from him a couple of days ago. A fellow named Ogden, Utah. He lives in South America now. You wouldn't believe that, would you?
Well, it sounds incredible.
Certainly does. Maybe it was in Central America. I'm not sure. You're a Schneider? A tailor?
That's right.
That's kind of a curious business for a Scot, isn't it?
Well, I don't think so. There are a great many Scotch tailors.
Is that so? They cut the cloth real short, I suppose. Huh? Are you married?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you've been to the cleaners already, huh? Where do you work, Mac?
Well, I work several places. We have a store in Seattle, one at San Francisco, and our main store here in Hollywood.
Oh, I see. And what is your job at this establishment?
Well, I'm in charge of the general tailoring and general manager.
Oh, you stand around and needle the tailors? Is that what you do?
That's what you have to do in this business.
Now, suppose I find myself in your shop for a suit of clothes. Now, what happens first?
Well, the salesman greets you.
No, I've already been greeted by your salesman. He just pulled me in off the sidewalk.
Well,
now suppose you don't happen to have the style suit I'm interested in.
That's impossible because we have all style suits.
Good. It happens I'm interested in a diving suit.
Well, you have me there.
Plus, I go to many dives later in the evening. Well, you're an interesting couple, and my advice is if you want the very best in values, visit your DeSoto Plymouth dealer. There we go. Now, let's see how high you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance. $1,000 question. You run your $20 no more than our other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but Georgeoplis Fenneman is going to remind our listeners.
The architect and the lady with the dogs won $227.
Georgeoplis.
Is somebody else by this name here?
Oh, there are...
I thought I was the only one.
Oh, no. This town is loaded with Georgeopolis. Did you meet Mrs. George?
How do you do?
This is Georgeoplis Fenneman. Let's see how high I can bid you $20. You selected names taken from occupations. Now, how much are you going to bet? You have $20.
Well, let's start easy. How about $10?
All right, $10. Many years ago, surnames were derived from occupations. These are some of the more common names used today. We'll describe the occupation, and you give me the name. Here's your first question. You're going to bet $10. What do you call a man who cooks breads and cakes?
There must be no question about that. A baker.
A baker is right.
You now have $30.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the $30 will you bet on your second question?
20.
$20.
$20. A man who makes casks or barrels is called what?
What'd you say, barrel?
Barrels or casks? Wine casks? I'm sorry, your time is up, kids. The answer is Cooper. All right, now here's your third question.
Drop down to $10.
You have $10. How much of the 10 are you going to bet?
Well, let's go a little higher now. That's $8.
$8. What do you call a man who makes beer?
A brewer.
A brewer is right.
Well, now you have $18.
Now you're climbing again. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 18 will you bet?
Let's bet 16. How about 16, so we still have...
16, so we'll have 2 left.
2 if we... we have more. We're not going to lose.
All right. 16 is it.
All right. What do you call a builder of wooden structures?
Carpenter.
Carpenter.
A carpenter is right, huh?
And you wind up with $34.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We have a young couple about to be married, Groucho. They were chosen from our studio audience from among several engaged couples here tonight. Miss Jackie Lervold, Mr. Peter Hamburger. Come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, youngsters, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and win $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Let's see now. Jackie Lervold, is that right?
Lervold, yes.
Lervold. How old are you, Jackie?
18.
18, huh? You're pretty young to be 18, aren't you? And Peter Hamburger, what is your age?
I'm 21.
21. Well, that's the oldest hamburger I've ever seen. Although I've been to many drive-ins where they were around 19. Where are you from, Pete?
I'm from Amsterdam, Holland.
Oh, you're from Holland?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Oh, I didn't know they had hamburgers in Holland. And Jackie, what is your hometown?
Everett, Washington. It's just north of Seattle.
Oh, are you married?
No, not yet, but I plan to be.
You're going to be? Well, congratulations. Are you married, Pete?
No.
I know you haven't had much time to form a definite opinion, Jackie, but what do you think of this young man?
He is my fiancé. I'm going to marry him.
Oh, really? Well, this is the shortest romance I've ever heard of. So, in that case, you have my permission to get married. Congratulations to both of you. Have you got a job, Pete?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm assistant manager at the Lower State Theater downtown.
Assistant manager at Low State Theater? And Jackie, are you working?
Yes, I'm an usher at the Low State Theater.
Oh, Oh, well, how did you two get together? You must see a lot of movies, don't you, Jackie? Do you have any preference? What kind do you like best?
Well, I like them all, but on the job I think I like the bad ones. Because the good ones always stay so long, you've got to keep watching them all the time.
That's a curious reaction, eh? Incidentally, do they send you girls to a special school to learn how to send 6 people in a row where there's only 4 seats? You picked this up yourself, eh?
A good usherette wouldn't do that.
I guess not. A good usher-up would let them find their own seats. Who's your favorite actor, Jackie?
Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart, eh?
Yes.
How about you, Pete?
My favorite actor? Gary Grant.
Who?
Gary Grant.
You mean Cary Cooper, don't you? Gary Grant. I can't even say it myself. Do you know what you're up against getting married in times like these, Pete?
Yeah, I believe I do.
Then why aren't you beating it for Amsterdam? Jackie, is Pete jealous? For example, would he mind if I kissed you? Just a little peck, you know. Sort of a Gregory peck.
I don't know. You'd ask him.
Pete, can I kiss your girlfriend?
I'd rather you wouldn't.
What about just a small kiss for $1? $5?
No.
$10? $10, Pete?
Is that the highest you go?
That's as high as I'll go, and that's as low as I'll go, eh? Well, you're a charming couple, and I know you'll have a long and happy life together in the lobby of Low State. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. Beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $1,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but Georgeoplis is going to remind our listeners.
The architect and the lady with the dogs are leading with $227.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected Latin songs as your category. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$10.
$10. All right. Let's see if you can give me the name of this Latin song. Okay, Jerry. What's the answer?
I didn't think of it.
Oh, you should have known this. It's the peanut vendor. You sell them in the lobby, don't you?
You have $10.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the $10 you going to bet this time?
$5.
$5. Give me the title of this song. Play, Jerry. I'm sorry, it's Perfidia. All right, well, that's a shame. You
have $5 now.
$5. This won't do. You can't get married on $5. Here's your third question. Now, how much are you going to bet of the $5?
$250.
Okay.
$250.
$250.
All right. What is the name of this Latin song? El Rancho Grande.
You now have $7.50.
Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. You have $7.50. Now, how much are you going to bet?
All of it, okay.
All right, shoot the works. What's the name of this song?
Brazil. Oh, wait a minute. Brazil.
Brazil is right.
They wound up with $15, and that means that the architect and the lady with the dogs with $227 in just 1 minute Get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question. Every day in every state in the Union, thousands upon thousands of motorists take their cars for service where they see the famous sign of better service, the friendly sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Skilled mechanics who know your car like a book locate and repair trouble quickly. They're aided, of course, by the most modern tools and equipment. Equipment that assures you of a faster job, a better job, a job that saves you money. These DeSoto Plymouth mechanics have been trained in factory methods. This training, plus their years of actual on-the-job experience, assures you of trouble-free driving for miles and miles and miles. So, for a fair and square deal every time, look for the familiar sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And be sure of a top service job at a price that's fair. Every day, everywhere, thousands upon thousands of motorists take their cars for service to DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Here's the architect and the lady with the dogs, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question, Groucho.
Now, you can buy a couple of extra lion dogs, if you win this. Here we go for $1,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Here it is. Ready? Got your thinking caps on?
Mm-hmm.
Children of all ages have known and loved the stories of King Arthur. Let's see how good your memory is. For $1,000, tell me, what was the name of the legendary city where King Arthur held his court? Walk it over. What's the answer you two have decided upon? If you don't know, take a stab.
I'm sorry. No.
It's Camelot. C-A-M-E-L-O-T.
All I could think of was Morte Arthur.
So that means the big question next week will be worth $1,500. Well, you lost the big money, but they won how much?
$227 in the quiz.
$227. That's not too bad for an evening's work. Congratulations and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,500. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the 1952 DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. A minute for safety beats a month for repairs. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is name. N-A-M-E.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive a new DeSoto? Hurry up
Do it now
at your dealers today. It's designed for you and your budget too. It's the 1952 DeSoto.
It's here. Yes, it's here. The new 1952 DeSoto is now on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Be sure to see this beautiful new car. Listen for further details later in this program. And here he is, the one, the only...
Fine name for a man. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $1,500 for one of our couples. George Fenneman, that's you?
Yes, sir.
Who's first to try for all that money?
Well, we invited some elevator operators to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Miss Lynn Maidman. Her partner is from the United States Air Force, Major Marion Watt. And here they are. Ladies, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, welcome. Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Miss Lynn Maidman, huh? You're an elevator operator?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? How old are you?
I'm 19.
19, huh? Where are you from, Lynn?
I'm from L.A., here in L.A.
Are you married?
No, I'm single.
What's that?
I'm single.
You're a cigar?
I'm single.
I don't hear very well. You'll have to talk real loud, huh? Major Marion Watt, huh? Let's see, your last name is what?
Yes.
I bet you expect me to kid you about your name being
Well,
Watt.
everybody does.
No, not me. I'm too old for that sort of thing. Now, what's your last name, Major?
What?
I said, what's your last name, Major?
My last name is what?
What? Well, Major, you said what? You said name. And you and your girlfriend here split $100. Here's 50 for you and 50 for you, Major.
Well, thank you very much.
Now, what did you say your name was?
My name is what?
Well, I'll call you Abbott and you call me Costello. Right? What branch of the service are you in, Major?
Well, I'm in the wife.
What did you say your last name was?
What?
What? You're in the what? And your name is Waff? Is that right?
No, it's the other way around.
Well, the Waff. I'm not familiar with that branch. What is it exactly?
Well, WAF means women in the Air Force.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that branch. Where do you fly your elevator?
At Saks.
You fly your elevator at Saks? What kind of Saks? Flour Saks?
No, Saks Fifth Avenue.
Oh, I thought maybe the flour Saks would be a grain elevator. Is your elevator hard to run, Lynn?
Oh, no, it's very simple. You can learn in 2 minutes.
You can how?
Well, there's just a little handle there that you turn to the right and you go up, and you turn to the left and you go down, and straight up is you open the door and stop.
In other words, you just have to know the ropes, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the old elevators they had about 20 years ago, and that joke goes with the old elevator. And I wish that joke was on that elevator right now. And that the rope broke. What's your assignment now, Mage?
Well, right now I'm assigned with the WAF Officer Selection Program. We're looking for women.
You're looking for women?
Yes, that's right.
You got nothing on me, huh? Maybe I can help you. I've had a little experience along those lines. How many women are you looking for?
Well, our program calls for 4,000 women.
What qualifications are necessary for candidates?
Well, a woman must be between the age of 24 and 32. She must have a college degree and have from 3 to 5 years of work experience, preferably in dealing with people or in a supervisory capacity.
I must say that your standards are considerably higher than mine. Well, it's been very nice having you both here tonight. And, Major, I hope you have lots of luck with girls like Lynn here. I hope I do, too. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,500 question. But right now, I want you to listen to this.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive a new DeSoto? Hurry up.
Do it now
At your dealers today.
Yes, it's here. The new 1952 DeSoto at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. It's a big, beautiful, comfortable car. Designed for you and your budget, too. The 1952 DeSoto brings you a host of great features, like Oriflow shock absorbers that help make even the roughest road feel like a boulevard. Waterproof ignition for fast, sure starting in even the wettest weather. And DeSoto's famous safety rim wheels to protect your family in case of blowouts. Yes, the 1952 DeSoto is the car designed for you and your budget, too. See it. Ride in it. Drive the new DeSoto. Now on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
It's designed for you and your budget, too. It's the 1952 DeSoto.
And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth, the value jewel of the low-priced field.
Friends, go into your DeSoto Plymouth dealer tomorrow, and when you do, tell them Groucho sent you. All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. George, would you mind explaining the rules?
Certainly. You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,500 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the show.
Here we go. Let's see how high you can build your $20. You selected famous Canadian cities and provinces. Here's your first question. How much of the $20 will you bet?
Want to bet all of it, or let's bet all of it?
You going to bet the whole $20?
That's right.
You realize if you lose the 20, I'm not trying to persuade you one way or the other that you
Should we
won't
make
have...
it 19? All right, we'll make it 19.
In what Canadian province is the city of Montreal?
It's in the province of Quebec.
Off to a great start. You have $39.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. Now, how much of the $39 will you bet on your second question?
Can we bet all of it?
All of it?
All of it.
Talk right up, you know.
We'll bet all of it.
There are dozens of people listening to this show all over America. In what Canadian province is the city of Winnipeg?
It's in Manitoba.
Manitoba is right.
Really on your way? You have $78.
Here's your third question. How much of the 78 are you going to try?
We'll shoot the works.
Shoot the works, huh?
Right.
In what Canadian province is the city of Toronto?
It's in the province of Ontario.
Ontario is right.
You now have $156.
How much are you going to bet?
We bet all of it.
$156?
Right.
You'll either have nothing or you'll have 23, 48. 156, you'll have 312 pounds. In what Canadian province is the city of Halifax, if you'll pardon the expression?
It's in the province of Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia is right. Put it there.
And you wind up with a grand total of $312.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We invited some waitresses to the program tonight, Groucho, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Pat Miller. Her partner is Prince Mike Romanoff. Folks, come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, children, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Pat Miller, huh? It's nice to have you here, Pat. Where's your home?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
I see. And it's Prince Mike Romanoff, huh? Well, it's a great honor having a prince with us. We had a king on the show last week. Really, Fred King. He was a plumber. Well, Prince, you know, I followed your career for many years. Tell me, are you still planning to swim the English Channel?
I am a restaurateur.
You're a wrestler, you say? Mike Romanoff? I can't believe it.
No,
Baron Leone could put you in the hospital in 2 minutes. What do you mean you're a wrestler?
I am the owner of a restaurant.
Oh, a restaurateur. Many people mispronounce it and say restaurateur. You have a restaurant, you say, Prince?
Yes, I have.
In that case, you could put Baron Leone in the hospital in 2 minutes. Prince, let's find out something about you. Where were you born?
Well, there's been a lot of question about that.
Are you really a prince?
Well, there's been a lot of question about that, too.
He does pretty well, even without a lawyer, doesn't he? Have you ever met a real-life prince,
No.
Pat? No? We used to have a great dame named Prince, but you're a Russian, aren't you?
No, that, too, has been questioned.
I guess the only thing that hasn't been questioned by him is the bill that he slips you at the end of the meal. I imagine that's been questioned, too.
Right.
You're a waitress, Pat, you say?
Yes.
Where?
At Biff's in Hollywood.
Biff's? What's Biff's? Biff stew or Biff's?
No, that's a short order house.
You mean you're a little short on each order that you take? Mike, what kind of a place is Romanov's? Would you call it a short order place?
We are a French restaurant.
French restaurant? What do you mean? How does your joint compare with a good restaurant?
We have a French cuisine.
I have a French cuisine. He lives in Long Island. What's the average check at your place, Pat?
About 70 cents.
And what's the most expensive dish you serve?
Steak and eggs, $1.65.
$1.65? How do you feel about these prices at Biff's, Prince?
I don't.
What is your average check at Romanov's?
Oh, I should say about $12 a couple.
You can eat there for $12, 2 people? That's without food, isn't it? That's for parking your car in the hat check. But doesn't it come to more than that? Wouldn't it come to...
Well, if they had Chateaubriand caviar, it might come to about $30 a couple.
$30 a couple? I remember $30 would take care of a family of 3 for a whole week. And you say it takes care of 3 people for only 1 meal, Mike?
2 people, 2.
No, 3 people. I was including you, Mike. Takes care of you better than anyone else, too, Mike. Prince, could you name some of your customers? Just for posterity, this is.
Well, we've had President Truman, General Eisenhower, Senator Taft, Ellie Kahn.
Senator who?
Senator Taft.
There's a senator in Ohio with almost the same name. I think his name is Hartley, huh? Do you have any food at your place that might be called inexpensive, Prince?
Well, we have one sort of specialty called steak Romanov.
Now you're talking. What kind of steak is that? And how much would that be?
$3.50, I can't remember.
Well, that's quite inexpensive. What is it?
Well,
is it sirloin, tenderloin, fillet, or what?
Well, it's has a mushroom sauce. It's
That's all? Just a mushroom sauce?
Well, it's a ground sirloin.
In other words, it's a hamburger, right? Well, it's been fun and educational having you here, and after talking with you both, I know exactly where to go if I want the best service. My DeSoto Plymouth dealer, naturally. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $1,500 question, which I imagine he needs desperately. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George Fenneman is going to remind our listeners.
The elevator operator in the major won $312.
All right, now, let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected royal families. Here's your first question. How much are you going to bet?
Should we do?
Well, I think we should bet 19, don't you?
Quite. $19.
$19. What country was ruled by the House of Ming? M-I-N-G.
China.
China is right.
You're off to a good start. You have $39.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of your $39 will you bet on your second question?
You name it this time.
All of it.
You realize you may be leaving this little girl penniless. Mike, you going to give her a free meal if she loses everything on this question?
I'll give you 2.
All right.
Well, that's $200 anyhow. All right, what country was ruled by the House of Tudor? Tudor.
England.
England is right.
You're really climbing. You have $78.
How much you going to bet?
75?
78.
$78? Yes. Ooh, you are a gambler.
Is that all with you?
All right, I'll gamble.
He said name.
Yeah, somebody said you
Back
name
on
it.
the bet. Huh?
Bring it on.
Is there? Oh, of course. Now, you each win $50 because she said name, which was the secret word. Now, you've got enough for a glass of water, Pat. Huh? Here's your third question. How much you going to bet?
Have 78.
Have $78.
All the 78, is that right?
That's right.
All or nothing.
Okay. What country was ruled by the House of Vasa, or Vasa, V-A-S-A? It's a toughie.
Egypt.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Sweden. Oh. And it's so close to Russia, Mike. You should have known that. Huh? We're going to give you one more question. If you get this right, we'll give you $10. Which will buy you a soup spoon if you don't take it out of the restaurant. Now, no help in the audience, please, because this is a tough question. How long was the 30 Years' War?
30 years.
30 years is right. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Gosh, I'm jolly tonight.
We asked
I used to be Groucho, but I'm jolly tonight.
We asked for married couples tonight.
I always ask for married couples.
Who had led interesting lives.
Well, that's kind of difficult.
And here comes the couple. And here comes the couple who was chosen, Dr. Marie and Dr. Richard Coe. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome. Welcome to the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll win $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Dr. Marie Coe and Dr. Richard Coe. Let's see, Dr. Marie Coe and Dr. Richard Coe. Is there a doctor in the house? Marie, I'll start with you. You're a doctor?
That's right.
What kind of a doctor?
I'm a medical doctor of medicine.
Well, you certainly could make me take my medicine. Where from, Doc? You imagine being sick in the middle of the night and calling, when she shows up, you call for a doctor. Now, you're Dr. Richard Coe, eh?
That's right.
Getting pretty sick of all this doctor talk. What kind of a doc are you, Dick? No. What kind of a dick are you? No. You sound like a wristwatch. Dick doc, dick doc. Skip it. What kind of a doc are you, Doc? What kind of a doc are you, Doc? Now I've got it, huh?
I'm a doctor of philosophy.
Doctor of philosophy. I have a two-wheeler home. Is that... Well, my philosophy can use some doctoring. Exactly, precisely, what is a doctor of philosophy? Do you just give aspirins to philosophers?
No. I happen to be a doctor of philosophy in chemistry.
Now, answer one question. Can you cure a patient?
No.
Well, that's all I want to know. You're the same kind of a doctor I've been going to for years. I'll just call you Dick, eh, Doc?
Fine.
How long have you been married, Marie? You're Marie, aren't you?
That's right. 5.5 years.
Well, and, Doc, were you studying chemistry while Marie was learning to be a pill roller?
No, I was working and taking care of the children.
You say you were taking care of the children?
That's right.
What children?
Our children.
Is this true, Marie?
That's right.
This comes as quite a blow to me. You mean in addition to your studies, you took time out to be a mother?
That's right.
How many times?
3 times.
She's a typical school kid, all right. She'll do anything to stay out of school. Marie, I'm only kidding. I think it's wonderful that you could study medicine and have a normal, full family life, too. Congratulations. And, Dick, I should imagine you enjoy a nice, full family life, too. You're as much of a hero as she is.
Thank you, Groucho.
Don't thank me. I had nothing to do with it. What sort of work do you do, Dick Duck?
I work for the Shell Oil Company, and I direct chemical experiments.
Like what? What are you looking for?
Trying to remedy any situations which may develop at the refinery. For example, one of the things we're concerned with now is
dirty windshields?
Is a remedy for a high corrosion rate we've encountered in an isomerization unit.
Really?
The catalyst...
Gee, I didn't think you'd get around to that for another week yet.
Well, we're getting a lot of corrosion there. And
you are, eh?
Yes, we are.
Well, things are tough all over. Is there much collusion with this corrosion?
It appears to be.
Marie, let's get back to you. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what he said. Last time I talked to you, it surprised me with 3 kids. I trust you're quite recovered by now, aren't you?
Yes.
And where do you hang up your shingle, Marie?
I'm an intern at the Harbor General Hospital.
Oh, you've been a doctor only 6 months and already you're an intern?
That's right.
Specifically, what are some of the things an intern has to do that an outturn wouldn't do, for example?
An intern...
If there's an intern, there must be an outturn. Right? How do they get out of the building, eh?
An intern takes histories and does physicals, goes on rounds, leaves orders for the nurse, instructions for the nurse.
You leave instructions for the nurses, eh? Well, suppose, for example, I were languishing in your hospital. What kind of instructions would you leave for the nurse?
Well, that would depend upon the nature of your complaint.
Well, I only have one complaint. The nurses continue to run out of my room. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, you'll get a chance at the $1,500 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but Mr. Fenneman, sometimes known as George, is going to remind our listeners.
The elevator operator and the major still lead with $312.
Let's see how high you can build your $20. You selected cabinet members. You have $20. How much are you going to bet on your first try?
20?
18.
$18. What cabinet member is in charge of the... Gee, I hate to say this. The collecting of the income tax returns. The mere mention of that revolts me, huh?
It's under the Department of the Treasury.
The Secretary of the Treasury. Well, that's close enough.
Well, you're on your way. You have $38.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much are they getting? $38. Will you bet on your second question?
I'll bet on it.
All right.
You're mighty lucky to get a charmer like that, Dick Duck. What cabinet member is in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigation? Oh, my, you're most smart, huh?
You now have climbed to $76.
I'd hate to be married to a woman who was that pretty and that bright.
Bet all of it.
The spirit of 76, huh? You're going to bet $76. What cabinet member is in charge of the conservation and use of the land?
Secretary of the Interior.
Talk it over now.
Secretary of the Interior.
What cabinet member is in charge of the conservation and use of the land?
Oh, agriculture? No, conservation.
Secretary of the Agriculture.
So you just got under the wire in time that time, Marie.
You now have $152.
All right, here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the
52.
52 are you going to bet? All of it?
All of it.
What cabinet member is in charge of the development of the natural resources of the United States?
Secretary of the Interior.
The Secretary of the Interior. A big kick.
And you wind up with $304, and that means the major and the elevator operator with $312 in just 1 minute. Get the chance of the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. If you're proud of your car, then chances are you're particular about where you take it for service. And that's why more and more car owners every day drive in where they see the familiar sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
That's right, Fenneman, because a DeSoto Plymouth dealer is just as particular about your car as you are yourself.
Yes, Groucho, his men are master technicians with years of experience. They're trained in factory methods to treat your car with the same watchful care a mother gives a baby.
You should see those men try to bite a DeSoto.
What's more, DeSoto Plymouth mechanics have the finest, most up-to-date tools and equipment at their command. That helps them do the job quickly and efficiently. And remember, fast, efficient work saves you money. So if your car needs service of any kind, visit your DeSoto Plymouth dealers the very first thing in the morning.
Fenneman, you're asking all those people to drive around in their pajamas?
Well, just drive in where you see the famous sign of better service, the friendly sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And here's the major and the elevator operator, the winning couple all ready for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question, Groucho.
Here we go for $1,500. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully and please no help from the audience. Here it is. The Uncle Remus stories have provided pleasure for millions of youngsters of all ages. For $1,500, tell me the name of the journalist and storyteller who created the Uncle Remus stories. Talk it over. What is the answer you two kids have decided upon?
We don't have an answer.
None? Don't you want to even take a stab at it? Well, I'm sorry. The correct answer is Joel Chandler Harris. Very well known. You should have known it. So that means the big question next week will be worth $2,000. Well, you lost the big money, but how much did they win in the quiz, George?
$312.
Well, that's not too bad. Congratulations, and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $2,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember... See the 1952 DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Good brakes stop many accidents before they get started. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.
$14. What is the word beginning with I and ending with 8, meaning to water the land?
Irrigate.
Irrigate is right.
You're off to a good start to have $34.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of the $34 will you bet on your second question?
30.
30? Fine. What is the word beginning with N and ending with 8, meaning to sail a ship?
Navigate.
Navigate is right.
You now have $64.
Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
60?
$60. What is the word beginning with I, or with L, and ending with 8, meaning to set free? Starts with
Liberate.
Liberate is right.
You've now climbed to $124.
They get along beautifully. They're crazy if they don't get hooked up. Here's your last chance to be the other couples. How much of the $124 you going to risk?
120.
120. Mm-hmm. What is the word beginning with E and ending with 8, meaning to dig or to hollow out?
Excavate.
Excavate is right. Put it there, kid. Fine. I think you ought to give Frank a big kiss for doing so well on this thing.
And you wind up with $244.
Wouldn't you kiss Frank for $244?
Sure.
Get going, huh? Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We asked for men with unusual occupations to volunteer from our audience, and just before we went on the air, Commander Ian Murray was chosen. His partner is a housewife, Mrs. Laurel Lee Hamilton. And here they are. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Mrs. Laurel Lee Hamilton, and Commander Ian Murray. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Ian, huh? I-A-I-N. You kind of threw me for a minute there. Mrs. Hamilton, does your husband call you Laurel or Hardy? Neither, huh?
He calls me his little honey.
And does he ever put the B on you? No, that was the wrong thing to say, I guess. Huh? Where are you from, honey?
Denver.
Denver, huh? And how old are you, honey?
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is roof. R-O-O-F.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive a new DeSoto? Hurry up
Do it now
at your dealers today. It's designed for you and your budget too. It's the 1952 DeSoto.
It's here. Yes, it's here. The new 1952 DeSoto is now on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Be sure to see this beautiful new car. Listen for further details later in this program. And here he is, the one, the only...
Name's familiar. Oh, that's me! Well, here I am again with $1,500 for one of our couples. Who's first to try for the $1,500, GF?
Well, we asked if there are any bachelors and spinsters.
You don't mind if I call you GF?
No, it's perfectly all right. We asked if there were any bachelors...
What would you object to?
We asked if there were any We asked if there were any bachelors or spinsters in the audience tonight, and just before we went on the air, Miss Sidney Ball and Mr. Frank Finch were selected. Folks, come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome. Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Miss Sidney Ball. Let's see, Miss Sidney, you're a spinster?
That's right.
A mighty fine-looking spinster. May I ask your age? You aren't obliged to tell the truth, in fact. You aren't even expected to, but...
May I say 44 and a half?
Yes, you may. Which half of the 44 are you?
The long half.
Oh, the long half. Well, you're pretty cute. Where are you from, Sidney?
I was born in Kansas.
In Kansas?
Yes.
And where are you from, Frank? Frank Finch, huh?
I've been 30 years in Los Angeles, but I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
Oh. You like it? You prefer it up here?
30 years seems so.
Gee, I wish I was out. And she said, I must be out tomorrow. And I said, well, what's so important? You must be out tomorrow. She said, well, there's a dog show in Glendale, and if I was out, I'd enter you.
My guess is that woman is still there. Well, let's get back to your romance. What kind of a man are you looking for, Miss Ball?
Well, I'd like a man about my own age, of course, and just the comfy home type.
Well, don't overlook Frank over here. If you marry him, at least you'll have a roof over your head. Of course, he'll sell it any time he can make a nickel on it. Well, you're a charming couple, and Frank, from here on, you have my permission to take the law into your own hands. And I hope you get a life sentence. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,500 question. Right now, this should hold your interest.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive the new DeSoto? Hurry up.
Do it now
At your dealers today. It's designed for you and your budget too. It's the 1952 DeSoto.
The new 1952 DeSoto. It's designed for you and your budget, too. The 1952 DeSoto is on display now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers with a whole host of great features. Features like famous safety rim wheels, sensational Oriflow shock absorbers for the smoothest ride on the road, chair-high seats to give you a relaxing ride and a good view of the road ahead, handsome rear end with a big rear window for greater visibility, waterproof ignition to give you quick starts even in the wettest weather. From every angle, the beautiful 1952 DeSoto is your best car value today. It's designed for you and for your budget, too. See the 1952 DeSoto. It's on display now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Mr. Fenner, would you mind explaining the rules?
Well, you bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,000 DeSoto Plymouth question later on in the show.
Here we go. Let's see how high you can build your $20. You selected words ending in ATE. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$14.
Not necessarily. There might be a price on you in Texas. How old are you, my lad?
Past 50.
Mm-hmm. A guarded statement, have I ever heard one. Are you interested in matrimony, Mr. Finch? Or are you still on the fence?
Well, I'm still on the fence.
What a feeble jape that is, huh? You still on the fence? Why?
Well, after all, sometimes I think the price of coffee and things like that for two.
Well, you don't have to marry coffee. That's Imagine a guy on his knees about to propose to a girl and he suddenly thinks of the price of coffee. That would be grounds for something. I don't know. What sort of work do you do, Mr. Finch, besides sidestepping? Eh? What's that?
I'm a real estate broker.
Oh, a real estate, really? Well, if you got married, at least you'd have a lot in common. Do you have a job, Miss Ball?
Yes, I'm a policewoman.
A policewoman?
Yes.
A copper, and you still haven't caught a man? No. Are you really a policewoman?
Yes, I'm really a policewoman.
You're pretty tiny to be a copper, aren't you? Well, it's no surprise having you on the show. We've been expecting the police for a long time. Would you mind pinching me? I want to see if I'm alive.
I never made a nicer pinch.
Well, thank you, Sam Spade. 2 clubs. No, that's another game. Has anything exciting ever happened in your job that you could tell us about?
Yes, many exciting things. I might say Lincoln Heights Jail, while it's a very tragic place, at the same time it's a very humorous place. And not so long ago we had a woman come in, and she took a look at me and she said, "You know, you look just like my bulldog." So I went on about my work, and a little later in the evening I went back and...
And bitter, I suppose.
went back and...
Nothing like being logical.
I went back and she said to me, she was very nervously pacing up and down behind the bars, and she said to me,
"Well, I have a married daughter. Does that answer you?"
It doesn't answer me, but I'm beginning to catch on. What sort of work does your husband do?
Well, he's sort of a farmer.
He is?
We have a little ranch.
Oh, you have a little ranch.
Mm-hmm.
And you raise bees there?
No, I'm the only honey. No, we have fruit trees
You're a
and
pretty
vegetables.
You're a pretty young-looking woman to have a grown-up daughter. How old is your daughter?
Well, she's 20.
Oh. Tell us about the ranch, huh? And
Well-
later about your daughter. Not much later, either. About now would be fine, I think. Huh? Let's skip the ranch. How tall is your daughter? Huh?
Well, she's 4.5 inches taller than I.
Well, that lets
And
me
she's
out.
very
huh?
slender.
All right, back to the ranch now.
We got
How'd you meet
18
your-
chickens.
You've got 18 chickens? Is that without your daughter or with your daughter?
48 fruit trees and all the vegetables in the world. We grow our own vegetables. It's only an acre.
Oh.
1
oh.
acre.
You have a lot of stuff on there for an acre. How
Well-
did you meet your husband?
Well, it's kind of a long story. It was about 2
well,
years
kind
ago.
of synopsize it. Huh?
All right. It was about...
Cut it down to boy size. Huh?
Well, this happened 2 years ago, and I'd been a widow for 5 years. And I'd saved up and decided to go to Honolulu, probably subconsciously in quest of a husband. I don't know. But anyway, some friends drove me to...
Just a moment, honey. Don't tell me you didn't know why you went to Honolulu.
Well, anyway, some
That
friends
boat is
drove...
full of buzzards going over there, Greg.
Anyway, some friends drove me down to the airport, and they spent an hour telling me about a fella they'd put on the boat 2 weeks before, and they said, he's a mama's boy, and he won't take you out, and he won't buy you corsages, and you won't like him, and... but anyway, call him up and tell him we sent our love, and maybe you'll get a free feed out of it. So, maybe he'll at least take you to one dinner. So when I got in, I did call him, and that evening he invited me to dinner, and he was just wonderful. He was out of this world, and I said, this is for me. He was not at all like I expected. You want to know how he proposed to me?
I'd like to.
Well...
Did the subject of coffee come up at all?
I don't remember that. Anyway, he had all